Hey everyone, it has been way too long since my last video. I am sorry, I have been working on a ton of stuff related to this game and just dealing with life stuff in general, but I'm finally at a place where I think I can call this the first unofficial devlog for the new game that I'm working on. So this is Devlog 0. Let me show you what I've been working on over the last about 6 months. Damn, that's too long, I'm sorry. But hopefully you'll like the updates. And I'm working towards the first official reveal of this game, and I'm getting excited because I'm getting closer. So in general, with the development of this game, I'm focusing on a visuals first development approach because I really want to be able to market this game as much as possible over the course of its development, and it's always easier to market something that looks good. So I want to get my shaders and my effects work down, which is part of what I've been learning over the last several months. I want to get my overall art style and general aesthetic as close to final as possible, and that doesn't mean there won't be changes in the future, but I want to have something that looks cohesive as I move towards revealing the game and posting on social media more consistently. So one of the things that took me a while to get to the point where I thought it looked okay are the player animations. And in the beginning I was trying to decide whether or not bones or individual sprite frames would be a better approach, and after experimenting a little bit with the two, I ended up going with individually animated sprite frames. And overall I think individually animating every sprite frame is more work, but it does give me more flexibility and it eliminates some of the weirdness that you might see if you're trying to animate with bones if your character is coming directly towards the camera or moving directly away from the camera. Currently, I have a walking animation and a running animation, as well as a meditate animation. And the meditate animation is tied to a key mechanic of the game, but I'll save that explanation for devlog number 1. So the player can walk and run through the plants and stuff like that that are in the environment, and I used to have each leaf or each blade of each plant moving independently. But I realized that was a little bit overkill, and I do want to pay attention to performance even at this early stage in development. So instead of having each individual leaf animated in every single plant that the player could interact with, I just sort of smooshed it all into one plant. And I think it still gets the point across and gives that feeling of weight that the player has in the environment, and it still looks pretty good, I think. So the player can travel to different areas of the game by passing through gates. And as kind of a consistent visual theme throughout the game, I want there to be these glowing flowers around every gate. And these are one of the things that it took me a while to figure out how to do because it uses some shader techniques that were new to me, and so I had to learn how to do it as I was building out what I wanted the final effect to be. But I think it turned out pretty well. And if you remember from some of my previous devlogs for my very first game, I was experimenting with trying to put as many flowers on screen as possible. That's kind of what I was trying to do here, although I realized that it really takes a hit in performance and practical terms. Like, each one of these flowers is its own individual draw call, so I think limiting this effect to specific areas of the game makes the most sense at this point. Overall, learning shaders has been kind of frustrating, but pretty fun once you realize you sort of understand what's going on. And there's still tons to learn, but I think at this point, since I am trying to move forward with a visuals first development approach, getting the shaders for traveling through different gates, as well as the shaders for things in the environment like the flowers around the gates, looking pretty good is going to be very helpful for posting on social media and marketing the game in general. So the overall game, without getting into too much detail about it, is going to be an adventure game with some action and exploration elements, and also maybe some Metroidvania elements mixed in as well. Because along with the gates that the player will be traveling through, there are locks that the player must find keys for in order to open up certain areas, unlock certain abilities, etc. Alright, so that's what I've been working on over the past 6 months or so. If you would like to see more updates as they come out before I officially reveal this thing in devlog number 1, you can always follow me on Twitter at Nevoski_studios, and I occasionally post things to the Godot subreddit as well. I will have dedicated social media accounts with the actual name of the game ready to go when I actually reveal this thing in devlog number 1, but of course I'll stick all that information in the description of any future devlogs. There actually is a bunch of stuff that I will be showing off that I have not included in this preview, so hang in there because the frequency of videos is going to increase once everything is in place. And as always, thanks everyone, thanks for sticking around. I know it's been a while, but I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks!